Welcome to the Solemn Tones channel. Today I am incredibly excited to announce the Odin Deluxe. If you know us already, you know the Odin is the ultimate solution for programming guitars. Well, the Odin Deluxe is that on steroids. But before we get into all of that, let me just quickly show you what it sounds like. Pretty damn awesome. That's what it sounds like. So today we are going to program something with the Odin Deluxe. And normally this is the point where I load up Kontakt and drag and drop it and start working with it. But guess what? That is no longer needed because the Odin Deluxe is a plugin by itself. No longer tied to Kontakt, and that by itself is just so incredible and mind-blowing to me already. So it's installed already. We have an installation guide on this same YouTube channel, so you can go check that out if you haven't already. So let's get into it. Let me quickly go over all the features and what's in here. So first off, we have this drop-down menu. So instead of having to load up Odin 1 and Odin 2, what you can do now is just choose one of the presets. So we have guitar 1, pan left or right, guitar 2, again, pan left or right. Hard panned rhythm guitars, which means you load up guitar 1 and 2 at the same time and they're automatically panned hard left, hard right, all done for you. Super easy for writing because you don't have to start routing and stuff. You just click that one button and you have two pan guitars. And then soft panned leads, which means let's say you have your hard pans 100% and then you're like, okay, I want some leads, but you obviously don't want them in the same space. So you click soft pan leads and now you have a nice filled stereo spectrum. So let's just quickly click on hard panned rhythm guitars. You will get a loading screen. It's just loading all the samples, setting everything up correctly. Our first button is Rom Mode. What this basically does is it adds some of that human error back into your playing. It will add random little sounds that you would normally get when you're recording real guitar. Then we probably have the most exciting feature, Swift Mode. What this will do is, first, it will take all the key switches and throw them out of the window. And then it will allow you to program articulations with velocity. Now, you won't be able to access all articulations this way. If you want full-fledged control of every little detail in your sound, you just use the key switches, obviously. But if you just want to pen down a riff really quickly without any key switches, Swift Mode is really handy. I don't use all the bends and stuff very often in rhythm guitars, meaning I exclusively program in Swift Mode right now. Next up we have Octave Drop, which just reads every single note one octave lower. This is especially handy for Guitar Pro and Tux and other tab software because they generally export everything one octave too low. So if you use some Guitar Pro MIDI, just click on Octave Drop and it will read everything correctly. And then we have the key switch button, which just shows you which key switches activate which articulations. We also have the little key switch pane up here that shows you which key switch is active. So you can see, all right, everything I'm doing is down picking right now. And of course, if you want to get better at this whole key switch thing, our older Odin tutorials are still super relevant for all of this. Finally, we have the tip screen on the bottom right here, which actually responds to your programming. If you are making some subpar choices here and there when it comes to humanization, or you're only using low velocities, this tip screen will say, hey, maybe change this, and will give you feedback depending on how you program. So let's just quickly program a really basic example, nowhere near as cool as the example you heard earlier because we want to be fast on this tutorial. I will first click Swift Mode because we're going to be real fast. And then I will take the MIDI from this bass and copy paste it. So I have the MIDI from this bass, but obviously it's an octave too low because it's bass. So I will choose all my notes, transpose them up 12 semitones, which is an octave. So then we have this. First off, we want to increase the velocity to 120 or something. This is because the Odin actually has a special humanization algorithm that will weaken your playing the lower you put your velocity. So a real player will not always have the same strength in their palm. That's why we have this algorithm. But by default, we want to have everything high so it's at full strength and then humanize. So let's say we make this palm mutes. We just... I just chose some random notes. I want them to be palm mutes. I go over Swift Mode. I see 10 to 34 is palm mutes. So we change the velocity here to, let's say, 31. All these notes were changed. And then we play it. So as you could hear, it now plays palm mutes. But let's say we also want to humanize these a little. We mark them all. Go to MIDI transform, random velocity. Let's say somewhere between 122 and 63. Operate. So it's very subtle, but it's there. We always want to be humanizing, especially when you go for faster BPMs. Let's see what we have. Obviously, you can go way further, and as I said, if you want to use the key switch pane, meaning all of the different options right here with all of those articulations, like in the example I've shown you before, all the older tutorials for the Odin 1 are still relevant, because what we did is we still use the exact same articulations from earlier. So your old Odin MIDIs actually work with the Odin Deluxe as well. Now do keep in mind, the Odin Deluxe still uses the same sound from the Odin. It's just a more efficient tool that isn't tied to Kontakt and also has a slightly better, more complex engine to support it. And as you know, when fully programmed, this is what it sounds like. So if you're interested in purchasing the Odin Deluxe, go to the link in the description or www.solemntones.com and pick up the Odin Deluxe today.